Welcome back to Exposing the Con. I'm your host, Richard Sorensen. Let's get to the con. You have mucosa in the nose, mucosa in the mouth, but you also have mucosa in the eye, he added. That would be Anthony Fauci. Theoretically, you should protect all the mucosal surfaces. That's enough for that. Let's get to the science. Now, here we're reading from a journal article, nature.com. You can see it's article NM1213 up at the top there. Let's look at that little bit at the top right there, autoimmune diseases and allergies. Here we review the properties of the mucosal immune system and discuss advances in the development of mucosal vaccines for protection against infections and for treatment of various inflammatory disorders. File that one back in the memory hole for a moment, and let's get to the actual mucosal immune system, which is separate but works in conjunction with our overall immune system interior to the body. Main part. The mucous membranes covering the aerodigestive and urogenital tracts, as well as the eye conjunctiva, the inner ear, and the ducts of all exocrine glands are endowed with powerful mechanical and chemical cleansing mechanisms that degrade and repel most foreign matter. In addition, a large and highly specialized innate and adaptive mucosal immune system protects these surfaces, and thereby also the body interior against potential insults from the environment. In a healthy human adult, this local immune system contributes almost 80% of all immunocytes. These cells are accumulated in or in transit between various mucosa-associated lymphoid tissues, MALT, which together form the largest mammalian lymphoid organ system. The mucosal immune system has three main functions: to protect and let me change the page here, to protect the mucous membranes against colonization and invasion by potentially dangerous microbes that may be encountered. Now, think about this one for a minute, folks. I mean, really think hard here. We're talking dangerous microbes, microbes that your body doesn't know about, the new foreign invader. If it's foreign, your body recognizes it, treats it as a threat, and the MALT, the mucosal immune system, sequesters the foreign pathogen, the foreign protein that it doesn't recognize, and it attacks it and it degrades it in the mucosal system. So, if there is an airborne virion, or virion, however you pronounce that word, and you breathe this in and it gets trapped on the mucosal surfaces, the mucosal immune system attacks and degrades it. So here's two parts of the con, or part one of the con. The second part of the con is going to come right at the end. The con is you stick a swab up the nose into the mucus. You're going to find all kinds of degraded virion, all types of pathogens that have been degraded by the mucosal immune system. And that doesn't mean you're sick. That means you're healthy and that your mucosal immune system did its job. End of story. This is a con of major proportions. You'll see what the con was at the end. Let's move on. Now let's take a look at what Dr. Richard M. Fleming has to say on the SARS-CoV-2, the spike protein, and basically the con.
Models in research showed what to do. Barrick and Chinese scientists also in 2013 isolated 3 corona vats with an HKU4 spike protein, which was unable to infect people. Keep that in mind. The HKU4 was unable to infect people. 15. Remember HKU4? Not effective in humans? In 2015, Zheng Li altered it, intentionally changed 2 mutation sites, and caused the virus to be extremely infective. This was not a naturally occurring process. She wrote in the paper that she did it. And wait a minute, it was paid for by NIH grants.
Now let's give a quick listen to Dr. Robert W. Malone, inventor of mRNA vaccine technology.
We found out the J&J product was causing blood clotting. Blood clotting is a major problem with the disease. It's one of the core problems. And the vaccine was also causing blood clotting. That's kind of odd. Now we're seeing that the RNA vaccines, a different genetic vaccine technology that also expresses the spike protein, is triggering some of those same symptoms in some small subset of people. And in some small subset of people, they also have clotting problems, including these brain clots. With some people, they're having these adverse events. And the odd thing is that those adverse events seem to overlap with some of the symptoms of the disease that's caused by the whole virus. And they seem to overlap between the 2 different genetic technologies that are used for the vaccines. And they overlap with some of the things that we know that spike can do by itself. And it might be that these known toxicities associated with the wild-type spike protein might be also associated with the engineered spike protein that is used as the antigen in these vaccines. And
so what we have here, folks, is a national emergency declared by President Trump on March 13, 2020, based on the fraudulent Imperial College model. Shortly after, a clinical trial begins on COVID-19, injecting poisons, toxins, and engineered spike protein past the mucosal immune system where it can do harm. And with the lockdown, we had, mysteriously, right there in March, we had a $50 trillion short of the market that older Americans, and I'll guarantee you every one of them on the World Economic Forum who helped coordinate this thing, all made a lot of money on this thing. Basically, the 2,755 billionaires in the world and the 51,882,000 people who are millionaires made off like bandits. And they made out like bandits, with President Trump declaring a national health emergency based upon the now widely known fraudulent Imperial College model and the shorting of the market to the tune of 50 trillion. The rest from that point onward is all smoke and mirrors, getting people to, basically getting people to chase their own tail like a dog, while the dump trucks hauling off the gold make a clean getaway. Well, let's just take a look here. Who have we here? Top 50 in the Congress. Net worth, $214.1 million. I'm going to get down to 43. We've got a net worth of $12.4 million for number 43. So we're obviously talking about the 1% in the Congress, and they're holding court. Now, I just mentioned the dump trucks. Remember the movie Die Hard with a Vengeance? Character Simon Peter and Bruce Willis. Well, Donald Trump was mentioned in that movie. And it just so happened that a bunch of dump trucks hauled off $140 billion in gold bullion. Oh, there we go. And what does it say right in the movie? And I'm gonna marry Donald Trump. Now, let's just take a little deep dive into the numbers here. 88, 2 4s. That makes 24, that makes 6. Then we still have a 4, a 2, a 4, and a 2. 6, 6. World Economic Forum, just the B's. Oh my goodness. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, BlackRock, Blackstone Group, Bloomberg, BMO Financial Group. WEF is funded by its own membership, which includes industry leaders from companies with at least $5 billion in yearly turnover. You think every person who gets to be on that sat on the preparedness exercise? You think they all didn't make a big chunk of that 50 trillion? Well, that's all for today, folks. I'm Richard Sorensen, host of Exposing the Con. And have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And